Thank you for the kind words and thank you for the invitation today to the EGVRS. Like Dr. Sharif said, I'm a refractive surgeon, but I'm always delighted, always happy to be invited to the EGVRS among my colleagues in retina subspecialty. Your words are too much, Dr. Sharif. Yani I'm not an expert by any means. Maybe I have a passion, and today I would like to share it with you. مين هنا يعرف الرجاله في المطبخ؟ مين بيشوف السوشيال ميديا؟ طب كويس الحمد لله والله في شويه ناس يعرفوني. طيب, for those of you who don't know me, I put together a 1-minute video. I would like you to see it first before we proceed. Actually, I've always enjoyed cooking, but the idea of putting everything on social media came together during the pandemic about 3 years ago. I don't know if it actually started as a hobby or it was always my passion, but what I'm sure of, it's a great stress reliever from our everyday job. Being in the kitchen, not dealing with humans basically for quite some time during your day is one of the very good things that we as doctors can enjoy. I'm sure all of you know the stress of having patients complaining to you every day, every hour of the day during your work, and just being able to escape from all of that and go into the kitchen and hide from all of these complaints, being with yourself, the food not talking to you, not speaking to you, not complaining to you, is actually one of the very stress relievers I enjoy doing. So, 5 quick points I would like to talk about today. The science behind cooking, the instruments used, the learning curve, the before and the after pictures and results we reach, and the teaching or the training part, since we are already in an academy today. The first topic is the science behind cooking, and I've put together a video for two examples. First of them is smoking meat, and this is one big, great entity in cooking. Maybe we're not as Egyptians very familiar with it, but it's a very big entity for cooking. And to reach these results, actually, there is a big science behind. Actually, Dr. Yahya Salah was invited to this brisket. Yes. To get this tenderness, this color, it's not by coincidence. Again, another example is the short ribs in a sandwich, as Dr. Habib loves. The best part is pulling out the bone. So quickly, how do you reach such a result? For example, if you want to smoke meat, the first thing is to choose the right cut of meat. Basically, a cut which has a lot of connective tissue, a lot of fat, would be very good for smoking. Smoking takes 16 to 8 hours, and for doing such a slow cook, for the connective tissue and the fat to dissolve slowly, you have to choose a good cut of meat. The most common are the brisket and the short ribs that we showed here in the video. The brisket is basically هنا في مصر الدوش اللي هي البكتوراليس ميجور والبكتوراليس ماينور والكونكتيف تيشيو اللي بينهم. الشورت ريبز هي الريبز بس الكات بيبقى مختلف. احنا في مصر بنقطع الريش بطريقه مختلفه. يعني انا مش عارف ايه الترانسفيرس وايه الاوبليك، بس احنا مختلفين في الكات عن ما بيعملوا بره في امريكا. طيب, also to reach this result, the wood used is very important. في خشب توت, خشب موالح, بيبقى فيه خشب جزورين, and there are actually some local providers here in Egypt. The conscious is growing in these kinds of cooking methods. There are producers of these kinds of wood. Also, the coal has to be a good coal that slowly burns and burns for a constant amount of time, and the heat has to be also constant during the whole process. The layout of the coal and the layout of the wood and the layout and the smoker or the barbecue you are using itself is very important. The outside temperature, the internal temperature you have to reach is also very important for this kind of meat to come out like this. It has to reach an internal temperature of 95 degrees. Also, you have to let your meat rest before eating it or enjoying it. It has to be 1 or 2 hours before. Again, one of the things that has a good part of science behind it is bread cooking or pizza baking. And again, another video.
You're granted membership in EGVRS for life.
I'm still going to talk about the before and after. The sounds. Sounds can just relieve all your day stress. Again, there is a little bit of science behind it. Using the right type of flour, whether it's fine grain, coarse grain, this all makes a difference in your end product. The ingredients by weight, by gram, this is not something that you would leave to coincidence or chance. You have to get your ingredients, your grams right, either for the flour, the water, the yeast you used, the salt, the sugar. All of that has to be in precise ingredients for a great result. The fermentation process, either it's one-time fermentation, you leave it to ferment twice, how many hours, all of that is very important to get right. Also, the oven and the temperature used, there is a huge deal of science behind them. Moving on to the instruments used, and again, I'll talk about two of my very favorite instruments. One of them is the thermometer I use in my cooking, and this is one of my very favorite toys. Sorry. Also, smoking chicken and turkey is one of my favorite things. And to get the temperatures right, you have to use a good thermometer for it. This is the thermometer I use. Actually, it's a Bluetooth thermometer with a mobile application, so I can track everything while I'm on the go. Like we said, some of these processes take up to 16 hours to do. And of course, I don't remain in the house all 16 hours. I just follow the results on my mobile app. Once everything is done, I can just take it out. You get all sorts of statistics from your thermometer. You know the external temperature, the internal temperature. You can get all sorts of info about your cook. The second instrument I love to use is my cast iron pan. And actually I do everything now in the cast iron. يعني اللي فاضل بس الشاي والقهوة بعمل فيها كل حاجة. الطاسة الزهر ده الحديد الزهر بتاع زمان اللي احنا كنا بنطبخ فيه زمان. فالكاست ايرون بان الميزة اللي فيها شوية مميزات. It's healthier than الحاجات الكوتد بالحاجات الكتير قوي اللي بيقولوا عليها كارسينوجينيك دلوقتي. الميزه اللي فيها ان هي بتعمل equal distribution للهيت. It reaches a very high temperature quickly and the temperature stays at a constant rate throughout the cook برضو. You can cook it on, you can start your cook مثلا on the stove لو انت بتعمل حاجه على النار من فوق وبعدين تدخلها الفرن عشان ما فيهاش اي بلاستيك ما فيهاش اي حاجه ممكن تتاثر بالحراره. These are all very important things that make me choose the cast iron pan to be one of my favorite toys as well. Again, there are other tools that you use during cooking ودلوقتي بما ان الموضوع بقى فيه سوشيال ميديا الكاميرا اللي بستعملها اللايتنج الاديتنج سوفت وير الحاجات دي كلها مهمه قوي برضو في الطبخ وزي ما انتم شايفين الصوره ممكن تبقى من كده.
Hey, watch this. It's my hidden talent. Here, I'll do it again.
فرق كبير قوي التولز اللي بتستخدمها في التصوير. طيب is there a learning curve? Of course there is. يعني أنا علمت نفسي بنفسي. I didn't take any courses. I have spoiled, burned, ruined, threw away hundreds of recipes. I've watched hundreds of cooking videos, also hundreds of photo editing and video editing videos. One day maybe I would go to a cooking school. Yes, maybe, why not? I would love to do that. لما نسيب الطب غالبا. طيب, this was one of my very early videos. I threw away most of them, but as you can see, there's nothing fancy about it, very boring. No music, no sounds. And one of my latest videos now is this one. Recently in the Oscars in Italy, so I got some of the ingredients from there for this video. ده فطار خفيف ده الفطار. طبعا فرق شاسع بين الموتزاريلا اللي في ايطاليا والموتزاريلا اللي في مصر. جبنه قريش يا توفيق. طيب another important part of cooking is the before and after. Of course, you would love to see your creations in the end and how they look like. And also another video, quick before and after. فين دكتور حبيب مشي ولا ايه؟ ماشي استخبى. طيب, the final part is the teaching. Of course, people are curious when they see you do these kinds of videos. They become curious, they ask you, and they start trying to learn. And I've actually found out that a lot of people enjoy cooking and they have the passion. They just want to be guided, like I was. This was one of the very first day that I tried what I do in people, on people. يعني جربت فيهم كان دكتور حبيب ودكتور توفيق ودكتور عمرو سمير. حقل تجارب بس كان فيه شويه تيتشنج.
ايوه
هيطلع كويس ولا هيطلع وحش؟ ما انا ناس عباقره في الاكل وذواقه هيقولوا لنا فاهم بالضبط.
اشرح لنا بقى اللي على الترابيزه دي.
بص هنعمل الحاجات السهله الممتعه. احنا جبنا شويه ريب ايز ستيكس بوليون بالعظم بتاعهم، وجبنا توما هوك كده لطيفه هنجربها النهارده. ببساطه
دي مش طياره.
بتسمي توما هوك دي اصلا بتسمى ليه؟ تسميه لازم برضه حته على البيت.
ايوه.
دلوقتي الهنود الحمر زمان كان عندهم بلطه فاس اسمه التوما هوك، ومن اسمه جه التوما هوك شكل الريب ايز، وجه منها اسم الصاروخ اللي هي كانوا بيحدفوها في الهواء على الحرب.
يا شيخ
فجه منها اسم
يا جدعان كل ده علم، ها؟ علم.
التوما هوك
اسمها توما هوك ستيك. فاحنا
اول حاجه عشان بتاعت التتبيل بتاع اللحمه دي ملح وفلفل بس. مفيش الريب اي ليها تسميه برضه. الريب اي جه اسم الريب اي. اسم الاي دي مش من يعني سبحان الله احنا عندنا دكاتره عيون النهارده اسمها ريب اي. لما بتقطع اللحمه دي على العرض بتاعها بيبان حته الفات اللي في النص دي شبه العين، فمن هنا جه تسميه الريب اي. بتسمي من بتاعت التوم اند جيري. لا مش هي، بس اللي هي دي مش هي. لما بتقطع بتشوف حته الشحم اللي في النص دي شكلها شبه العين، فبتبقى عشان كده سموها الريب اي.
اعمل كده تاني كده.
طيب, again to summarize, there is science of course behind cooking. You use instruments and tools and they vary in your end result, or they make a difference in your end result. There is a learning curve to cooking. The before and after is one of the very nice things that I enjoy during cooking. There is a teaching and training process, of course, during cooking. Looking at those 5 points, do you see a similarity to anything that we do? It's basically our everyday job. We have the science, the instruments, the learning curve, before and after, and also the training part. So actually, maybe our hobbies are not so far away from our daily profession. This was my very last video, and some people requested it, so I brought it here. This was one of the last videos, actually the last. This is the final cook, من يومين تقريبا. Again, with some of the Italian cooking ingredients. تخيل عرق سوس. مكرونه بالحبر بتاع الحبار. مكرونه بالحبر بتاع الحبار من ايطاليا. كنتش معايا بتعمل شوبينج ليه يا دكتور توفيق؟ Thank you very much.